actually Gale. I'm the owner and instructor at the Kitchen Table Cooking School here in Hillsdale, New York. I'm going to be doing a few classes with you. We're all stuck at home, and the best thing I think to bring home those recipes that you're missing so much at restaurants is to learn to make them yourself. Today we're going to be doing a recipe that I learned from a Pakistani friend. They're called potato samosas. And I'm going to start by using fingerling potatoes. They are a thin-skinned, waxy potato. We're going to leave the skin on in the recipe, and that's why we don't want to use a thick skin like a russet potato. I'm cubing the potatoes, and I'm going to cook them in some salted water until they're tender. And then I'm going to add some other ingredients, things you probably have at home: onions, garlic, some frozen peas, and then some fresh ginger. It's okay if you don't have any ginger. It tastes a little better with it, but whatever, you're home. I'm placing the cubed potatoes into the water, bringing it to a boil with some salt in there to give it some nice flavor. And while the potatoes are cooking, we're going to get the other ingredients ready. So I'm going to take an onion and a couple of garlic cloves and mince them finely. We're going to add some spices, nothing too spicy, but nice aromatic spices. Now I'm going to chop an onion. Now you probably think you know how to chop an onion, but I can't tell you how many of my students have learned this really great trick for not crying when you cut an onion. So when you look at an onion, there's the top and the bottom is where the little hairs come out, and that's the roots. The root is where the sulfuric acid, which is the fumes, are located, right in that little spot. So if you keep that root end on as long as possible, you're not going to cry, and I'll show you. So this is how you quickly dice an onion, and I say quickly because I've been doing this for about 19 years. I've been teaching cooking. It's going to take some practice, but the practice is worthwhile because it helps you cut an onion quickly and without tears. So you take your knife and you're going to cut every 1/4 of an inch almost to the bottom, to the root, but not all the way. You don't want to cut all the way through. And once you reach the end, you're going to give it a 1/4 turn and do the same thing. So now we're doing cross hatches. So once you've gotten to the end again, you're going to turn the onion on its side and do 1/4 inch cuts all the way down. And there you go. Voila! Your onion is cut and no tears. So we're going to take our cloves of garlic, and they have the skin on them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your clove, put it on your cutting board, take your knife, you want a big knife like a chef's knife, and put the garlic clove at the base of the knife and give it a whack, just like that. And then the paper or the skin will come right off. Much easier than trying to peel those garlic cloves. Then I'm going to chop them up finely and add them to the onion that's in the pan. So we're going to take our cloves of garlic, and they have the skin on them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your clove, put it on your cutting board, take your knife, you want a big knife like a chef's knife, and put the garlic clove at the base of the knife and give it a whack, just like that. And then the paper or the skin will come right off. Much easier than trying to peel those garlic cloves. Then I'm going to chop them up finely and add them to the onion that's in the pan. While the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to saute the onions and the garlic. So I'm going to take some light olive oil. You can use regular oil, olive oil, butter, ghee, any kind of oil will do. You want to put about a tablespoon in the pan and warm it up. And then we're going to take those chopped onions that we just prepared, and I'm going to put them in the pan. So now we're out in my garden. This is the herb garden, and I have a bunch of different herbs here. But what we're going to pick today for this dish is some fresh coriander. It's also known as cilantro. It has a really great flavor, but there's something interesting about it. Some people have a gene that makes cilantro taste like soap to them, and it doesn't taste very good, as you can imagine. But I love cilantro. So we have our fresh cilantro just picked, and I'm going to rinse it off. You always want to rinse, even if it's from your own garden, because you never know what might have been passing over it. So I give it a good squeeze, and now I'm going to chop it finely. So you notice the sawing motion that I'm using, up and down, back and forth, and that's the best way to get a nice fine chop. So in addition to the cilantro, I'm going to use that fresh ginger. When you're buying ginger, you want to find ginger that has a nice papery skin on it, that's not wrinkled, that's smooth. And the best and easiest way to peel ginger is so funny. Just take a spoon and the skin comes right off with your spoon. And I'm going to use a grater. I need about a tablespoon of ginger for this recipe. So this grater catches it. It's what's called a microplane, which is the blade on top, and then it catches it underneath. So I'm just going to go back and forth across the microplane. It's going to take a little bit of work. So I have about a tablespoon of fresh ginger. Smells amazing. Just get it into the pan. The onions and the garlic are in there. And then I'm going to add that fresh cilantro that we just chopped. Now I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix it up. And we're going to add a teaspoon of mustard seeds. If you have mustard seeds, great. If you don't, that's okay. They give a nice little flavor punch, but they're completely not necessary. So this recipe, which is of Indian and Pakistani origin, comes to me from a friend of mine named Simi from Pakistan, and she taught it to me as a snack that she used to feed her kids when they came home from school. Our potatoes are nice and tender. I'm going to just drain them. And while they're draining, I'm going to go back to our saute pan. So now I'm adding the sauteed onion, garlic, cilantro, mustard seeds, salt to a bowl that has the cooked potatoes in it. In addition, I'm going to add about a quarter of a cup of baby peas that were frozen and I just let defrost on the counter. You don't need to cook them. They have a nice brightness to this dish. So in they go. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of turmeric, just for color. Doesn't add much flavor, but it makes it nice and bright. And then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So the best way to get the most juice out of your lemon is to roll it on the counter. And this bursts those little capillaries. So roll it, and then take your lemon squeezer. You want to catch those pits. And add about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Okay, so all those ingredients are now in the bowl. I'm going to mix it, and then I'm going to take a potato masher and mash it up a little bit, because we're going to put them into, and here's the real trick, tortillas. Some people make their own wraps for the potato samosas. My friend Simi taught me to use tortillas, and it makes all the difference. So easy. Alright, so get yourself a potato masher. If you don't have one, you'll find something that works. You're just going to mash it around. You don't have to have it smooth, but you want it a little bit easier to work with. Because when it's all cubed like that, they tend to fall out of that tortilla. So now, we're going to take that filling and fold it into the tortillas, and then we're going to bake these samosas. So what I do always, whenever I'm baking, is use parchment paper. And I line my baking sheet with parchment paper, and then nothing sticks. It's just a miracle. So we're going to take tortillas. I have some nice organic white flour tortillas, and also some gluten-free quinoa flour tortillas. And I'm just going to take this tortilla and put a couple of tablespoons of the filling right into the center. A couple of tablespoons go right in the center, and then I'm going to make a triangle out of a circle. So you take one side and fold it, you take another side and fold it, and you take the third side and fold it. And from the circle, you get a triangle. Okay, so the samosas have been in the oven, 425, for about 10 to 12 minutes. And you know they're done when they're getting nice and brown. Out they come and ready to serve. So here I am at the table. Here's my potato samosa out of the oven, nice and brown. I'm going to give it a little cut because it's a big one. Here's how it looks on the inside. Here's how it is going into the mouth.